Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon. Microphone check. Screen check. Yeah. Looks like everything's working correctly here. Good, good. Wonderful. Welcome, everybody, to the afternoon market recap and offering overview and all that fun stuff. Over the next 30 to 60 minutes or so, we're going to be covering what took place today, or what didn't, depending on what side of the fence you were on, and looking at the trade setups that presented themselves per the rules outlined in the Day Trading Academy and the VIP trade plans over on SSFTG. I'm going to talk about every setup that presents itself today, but remember, not all patterns and setups are created equal. The ones that I'm going to cover here don't use any common sense filters at all. An example, going long in a massive downtrend or shorting a massive uptrend sounds good, right? Shorting the bottom of a range, yeah, perfect. You get the picture. I do this to ensure total fairness in our patterns and setup review, no cherry picking. So. Don't forget, before we kick this off, smash the like button and let the YouTube algorithms know what's up. Heck, while you're at it, hit the subscribe button too so you don't miss out on the next video. We go live every day at 1300 Eastern in the afternoon to go over all of this stuff and take a look at some S&P scalps and see what all is going on. If you want to hang out with me and the rest of the VIPs for the entire US morning session, you can register for a 1-week trial, and you can do that right on the main page of SSFTG. And that way you can get in the VIP live room from 9 to 12 during the New York Stock Exchange Open. Along with that, when you register, you also get the ability to sign up for a 30-minute phone call with me to discuss any questions you have about joining as a member or anything else. And the best part is, of course, it's totally free and no credit cards required to register. So make sure to get on the calendar today so you don't miss your time slot. If you have any questions about what we offer, what we have available for you, anything in between, we do a Q&A time after the charts, so we'll definitely get you covered. So with all that out of the way, let's take a look at what happened today on the old buddy NQ and see if we can find some scalping opportunities on the S&P. We were talking about one like 2 minutes before we started the afternoon room in the chat room for Discord. For VIPs and YouTube members, we got that quick little scalp to the upside, but that means that I'm going to have to see if I can find another one. Anyway, looking at what took place today, we can see that there's actually only one setup today. There was only one pattern this morning because the market just went straight up, and that was a loss per the hard rules. Now, we'll talk about the way that this set up because it definitely was not a loss depending on how you managed it. But the overall momentum to the upside has been absolutely absurd today. Yesterday, again, we were closed. I wasn't in the room yesterday. We had kids home, but it does look like yesterday did have some pretty solid setups. So today is just kind of a give back. There's only one setup really, but hey, Bram, how's it going? So let's look at this one here and kind of see what's going on. The big thing that really took place here, obviously, is that the market at around, well, yesterday from 2:30 until this morning at, or no, actually last night still at 10:30, that's where it was consolidating. And from there, it strapped the nitrous rocket boosters on and went from 15,860 all the way to, well, it hasn't stopped. They actually just bounced off of the highs once again at 16,340. One of the big things that we were talking about in the room this morning was looking at the larger perspective. Obviously, you can see it's all marked up. In how this was sort of working its way higher. We know that we have wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, wave 4, wave 5, all the way up. Easy peasy stuff. The cycle to the downside, wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, wave 4, wave 5, and now we're starting to migrate back up to that point of control, that giant POC that was left behind at 16,305. Now, the market has made its way above that, but that is the major concern. If these were longs, let's say, buying into the pullback over here, and they got dumpstered, chances are they're going to want to take their exits when they can get out at around break even, having to sit through this entire dive lower. Now, along with that dive lower, of course, one of our favorite setups is breaking below the previous confirmed swing and trapping out a boatload of traders, shaking out the weak hands, if you will, to then rotate the market back up to the highs, which is exactly what took place here. This one did it in a little bit more of a vindictive way, though, because if they're going to be breaking underneath a low, usually when they return back above, we get the inside pullback. Now, it hasn't happened yet. I mean, maybe it does, but this thing just went straight up into the sky. So with this kind of momentum, we have to kind of ask ourselves, you know, man, what kind of setup are we dealing with here? Is it going to pull back ever? I'm sure it will. But right now at the moment, we're reaching out to a positive 2 DP right towards the end of the day. Chances are, probability would suggest at least that the market closes underneath this 16,320 by the end of the day. That said, we still have a couple hours, and it certainly doesn't have to stop here. So looking at the overall patterns, I mean, we only had the one. It was a -1R. It triggered in and immediately stopped out. Again, something we talk about a lot. Look at the time stop. It was at 9:37, 7 minutes after the open. Basically, every setup, as far as a pattern goes, that we've had, aside from I think one at the open, has been a loss, and it shouldn't be much of a surprise. But again, no cherry picking. We're going to catalog them all. It was just that one setup today. Now, as far as the actual management is concerned, the way that this played ball was something that we were talking about in the VIP room, and how we're dealing with the open. And how whenever we have a pattern at the open, I believe I said exactly that. Whenever we have a pattern at the open, it's almost always further down than you would expect it to be, because they're trying to flush out the weak hands at the open before the continuation to the upside. And that's exactly what they did. We bought small into that first zone and started picking it off, but when they started having a return higher, that was where picked off a little bit at around break even, bought a little more into the dip, kind of finicking around my average, because effectively my first entry point ended up being, in hindsight, terrible. Welcome to trading. It doesn't always work. You've got that first entry point, and again, the pattern in and of itself would have stopped out, but modified management had the secondary ad and the tertiary ad. We can sound fancy. And then the final breakdown for a quick little stop run, a good old JP swing underneath those lows. Traders love them. They put their stops underneath the base because they're trying to buy too early, shakes them out, and then goes screaming back to the upside. With that rotation back to the upside, obviously we don't know that it's going to go screaming straight to the upside right away, so we've got to hedge our risk a little bit, right? When it goes back up towards the break-even point, exiting a little bit, buying back into a little bit more of a dip, exiting a little bit more back up into the break-evens, buying a little bit more into the dip, exiting on the continuation until it finally breaks away for the major objective. Now you'll notice the final little exit there was incredibly vindictive, because we were waiting through all of this back and forth, finally started rolling up, and you'll notice I didn't have an exit here. This thing popped up in seconds, okay? It jumped up, I hit sell ask, didn't get filled. Pulled back a little bit, hit sell ask, didn't get filled. Pulled back further, didn't get filled. Kept not getting filled over and over until it finally took me out, basically right back to where the target was anyway. It's one of those scenarios where there's just nothing you can do about it, but oh well. In hindsight, that it didn't stop going. In hindsight, I was a total idiot for completely exiting out of the trade. Again, you never know that's going to happen, but when we have that follow through, there's a lot of different ways to manage it. You don't necessarily have to be hard per the rules, but like we talked about before, just sticking to the rules, there's nothing necessarily wrong with that either. Last week was a 10-hour week just sticking to the rules, so definitely viable. As far as the S&P is concerned, there's really not much of a difference between the S&P and the NASDAQ from what they're doing. If we look at where the S&P is, jeez, oh Pete's. This thing looks absolutely ridiculous. Obviously, one level of concern is this twin reversal that just took place. The bulls crept up, and the bears swept it right back down again. After this long of a prevailing uptrend, and this beautiful of a flag wedge, whatever it is that you want to call this, they should have been able to break above the highs. I mean, there were buyers all over the place, and they couldn't get the job done. So the fact that they're pulling back right now, this could be one of two things. A beautiful trap, right? A gorgeous bear bar to sucker in all of the shorts thinking, maybe this is the top, right? They're going to go for 2-to-1s. They're not going to go for scalps here. The probability's terrible. So they're going to be going for big targets, and that makes sense because, I mean, what's their risk versus reward? At minimum 2-to-1, if not further, all the way down to the base. The last volume node's way the heck down here. So the sellers do have a reason, yeah, and look at the follow-through, for them to at least try to press. Now, if the press fails, there's only a minute left on the candle. If they close underneath the POC or they close with a big wick on the bottom or something like that, there could be a cause for concern that the sellers are losing their grip and the bulls try to creep it back up once again. This kind of rotation down, though, does not suggest that the bulls are losing their grip. We'll probably get a couple more candles to the downside with the way that this is rotating. Major volume nodes obviously are, well, they just close underneath it. But if we go back to the impulse, just the impulse, we can see that the balance point POC is at 46.83. And that is the only thing that hasn't hit. It got missed. They swerved it by a tick earlier. Let's see if maybe this is what they want to get going. This does look like it's got some bearish pressure. In all honesty, they may be trying to push back to fill the gap down here just underneath the 80s. I think it makes more sense given how much pressure is coming in right now. This looks nasty. Got to be careful. Still got plenty of time for the morning session to kind of kick off into the afternoon session for some opportunities. It's just a matter of what they want to do with this. Holy cow. That bear move definitely has some possible conviction. Let's see what they want to do here. It'll be very, very interesting. The S&P is looking pretty strong to the downside right now, but that may just be to get the POC test. Lots of funky gaps inside here, too. NASDAQ beginning to churn a little bit. Now keep in mind, if you're looking for a way to join me in the morning session, every morning from 9 to around 9:20 to 9:30, we have the YouTube morning, the YouTube members morning prep, the morning brief area where we get the YouTube members in the VIP room for a few and go over all the charts and get everything locked and loaded. So if you're not a member on the YouTube side and you're not a member of SSFTG in any way, that's a really cool way to kind of get in the chat room and get in the room, get a morning plan ready. That way you're ready to rock and roll, even for a day that just goes straight up, you know? Well, welcome to life, man alive. We do have more continuation to the downside, the S&P fulfilling 4683. Initial bouncing off of 4683, but if we look at this rotation down, we do have downside candle gapping, which would suggest at least that we've got further potential, at least down to the 4680 halves at the moment. If they're looking for wedge support on the base, they didn't quite make it. Let's see what they want to do here. We've got some pretty good rotational back and forth going on. The big question here really is, do we have enough bulls come in off of this 4683 to redefend, or do they lose their grip? Sell side conviction, maybe a little bit more down to like the 82 quarters or a possible overflush. If we're looking at a volume shelf, they've got a VVP which is hovering back at 79.75. If we compare that to current price action, we can see that's a pretty heavy overdrive. Looking for another like 4 points down. It does fit for the candle gap though. It's actually just a little bit below it. See what sellers want to get done. Starting to get a rotation back down again. That 5-minute chart looks vicious. Yikes. We do get a nice bounce off of the wedge low support so far, but as soon as that bounce happened, it immediately pressures back down again. They may be trying to snap it through. There's a minute and a half left on the candle, too. Incredibly awkward. I would love to see an overdrive flush down to 79. Also filling in the Discord chat room, sorry. So we've got the bears who are, I mean, they've got a nice little dip down there. The question now is, can they keep it going? NASDAQ also starting to creep back up. It looks like they poked the trap underneath that previous swing at 296 quarter and started ripping it right back up again. Looks like the S&P is not going to let me play ball, huh? All right. $30 seconds left on the current candle. Still has a downsided candle gap. I would still love to see 46.79. Going to be a little bit harder with only 26 seconds left on the candle, though. NASDAQ is attempting to get a secondary bounce to the upside with buyers buying below the previous bull bar for an attempted continuation up. Or it's just going to hang out here and do nothing. I would still really like the 46.79s if they're able to get it. Continuation bouncing to the upside. The Nasdaq starting to sweep higher. Nice little shift in control there around the 305s. They trapped them underneath the previous bull bar, trying to catch it to go back up. Even forming a bit of candle gapping on the last few 500-tick candles on the Nasdaq. Realistically, the last few bars on the S&P should see some follow through to the downside, but you know it's kind of tough to look at a chart that's like this and say, yeah, I'm gonna go short. You know, it's oof. I don't know. It kind of hurts my insides a little bit thinking about that one. There will be possible shorts looking to sell the previous bear bar's top at 85.25. That's just a really, really hard location. The path of least resistance will obviously be to the upside. We are starting to dip back underneath that 2DP high, though. Looks like the zone of congestion is right inside here on the Nasdaq. See if they want to pull back and get supportive bouncing out of that area, or if they're going to pull back at all. Or not. Or they just keep going up to the sky. All right, market just kind of bouncing around a little bit, not really doing a whole lot of anything. Sellers are trying to get a continuation move to the downside and hold this gap area, but, you know, again, when you look at the market the way that it is, who really wants to short? It's kind of a tough ask. All right. Just kind of bouncing around. S&P. Oh, man. Well, it seems like it's going to be a pretty far cry away from getting that 46.79 now. That's a toughie. We've got the previous resistance from the shorts who shorted underneath that 87.50. If we were cataloging that last bar as well, looking for a downsided move to see how did the market respond to that. Interestingly, we can see that if sellers shorted underneath that bear bar, we had a scalper's target, we had a 1-to-1, and they missed the 2-to-1 objective. So this move up is likely going to be fueled by some shorts who are a bit upset. Especially, again, given the overall trend that's going on, that's a very difficult thing to maintain a short in with this kind of pressure. That said, I still have to wait for like 82.75 where the support is, rather than way up at the top for now. If we can get a little bit more context, though, this is a really nice bull bar, but it hasn't closed out the gap. The gap is still there, technically. If it were to go back down again, then the gap would be a negative gap. That would be at around 83 or so. Now, if they can close this, go up a couple more ticks. Test the break-evens of the shorts. Remember, a lot of shorts will enter one tick underneath that bear bar, so their entry point is going to be right there, which bounced off to the tick so far. So again, put yourself in the shoes of the shorts, right? The sellers who are short at 46.87 quarter. They're sitting here with a big old move to the downside, had a 0.5-to-1 scalp, had a 1-to-1 trade all the way down, and missed the 2-to-1 target by like a tick. And now you're back at break even again. How do you think they're feeling? Probably not too happy, right? We do have some more shorts coming in and pressing back off of that 87 quarter with them trying to re-up, right? They're just selling off of their entry point. They're defending a little bit. If it starts cracking through, they've got problems. Right now, the sellers are still winning, not by much. They're also a little bit skittish. And if you couldn't hear in the background, the kids are here again today. So don't mind some background noise. Challenging the break even. Bid ask is shifting higher, but they haven't popped price through. Here it sits. Going on 120 now and testing a pretty important area here for the S&P. Love to see if they could rotate through this 87 quarter and rebounce. Got 2 minutes left on the current candle. They're still hovering around that break-even point. They're trying to hit it. Sellers pressing back down just a little bit. NASDAQ also coming under some pressure. There's barely been any pull. Was there? I guess technically there's been one. I mean, the NASDAQ just looks insane. Big spike in channel. Same with the S&P. 50 seconds left on the current candle. So far, sellers are defending their break-even points. No pullback yet, just kind of hovering. Man, what kind of candle are they going to close on this thing? Jeez. A doji? That'd be just fantastic. All right, relatively strong bear bar. Right off the break-even point. I'm very interested to see how well they do on the follow-through. That would technically be a secondary short off of the highs that just popped to a new high, rolled down. Now we've got a second roll down. Ooh, getting a little bit of whippy slippy price action going on here. S&P bid ask jumping around a bit. NASDAQ also catching a nice little pullback. Zone of interest on the NASDAQ. Again, I would still really love to see that dip down there, but cycling back up. Shorts who took a short underneath that last bear bar have so far just gotten dunked. They've got 85.50. Their stops are likely above that bear bar's top at 87.50. NASDAQ plotting a halfway decent bull bar too. 4 minutes left on this current candle. Market just kind of jerking around a little bit here. Got some back and forth. Possibility of a bear trap underneath that last bear bar, but they haven't proven it yet. The gap is still open. They've so far only defended their break-evens. Nice little dip. Intermediary support on the NASDAQ is going to be in the low 13s. 13s down to 11s. Can they get it? 2.5 minutes left on the S&P. Nice bear bar, trying to get some follow through back to the downside if they're able. So far, if shorts triggered in, they would have gotten triggered in at 85.50. They've gotten one tick in their direction. I think the shorts are feeling a little bit of pressure, in honesty, and if they are given a chance to get out at their targets, I think they are going to be much more apt to take those targets now. So I am interested at 84.50, with the assumption that shorts will be taking their targets there. And I'm happy being later in line as well, as far as first in, first out goes, because I want a lot of the other people to get filled first. I'll even give it a little bump. Move myself to the back again. NASDAQ catching a little bit of a dip. Oh, it didn't quite hit the zone though, did it? Trying to get some kind of rotation going, but they got 1:20 left on the current candle. NASDAQ's right down in the bottom. Nice little zone there, testing on the top of it. All right, didn't get a fill on that quick little pop there for the NASDAQ. S&P's got 50 seconds left. First objective off on that quick little pop on the NASDAQ, but we're bouncing out of that area for a quick little snap if they want to get it going. 20 seconds left on the 5-minute bar. Come on, NASDAQ. Jeez. Let's go. Got top asked, not getting fills. There we go. Nice little pulse back up to finish the job. Jeez, NASDAQ. Beautiful bounce out of that little area. Whoops. Quick little snap higher just for scalps. S&P, I can't get a fill to save my friggin' life on the S&P right now. Come on, ES. Here it sits. I'm sure a lot of people have been sitting on the sidelines for the better part of the day, just watching it go off into the sky. Second time around, the NASDAQ already had its bounce, not as interested. 84.50. This is really... Okay. Came one tick away at 84.50. I'm going to move myself to the back of the line again. I want all those nervous Nellies to get filled before me. I need them to be the fuel to my fire. Nice little back and forth kind of herky-jerkus going on. S&P's got about 3 minutes left. NASDAQ had the quick little scalp. Next dip down is going to be the zone a little bit further. And that could be the added pressure that the S&P needs. One tick away on the S&P. All right. 130. Starting to roll into the later part of the afternoon session here. Feel free to get those questions in if you have any questions that you want me to get covered for you. If there's any trades that you want me to review for you as well, feel free. Very nice bull bar on the NASDAQ. Wow. Okay. Huge amount of sentiment shifting on the NASDAQ with that kind of bull bar up. They triggered the bulls in. A little inside snap into like the low 15s or something would be kind of nice. We do have resistance above us at around 324. Brick top candles all over the place up there. Oh, S&P. Oh, it hurts. Missed the entry by one tick. And I know it wouldn't have been filled either, even if it did go to the tick, because I put myself at the back of the line like 4 or 5 times. They've only got 1:20 left. Now if they were to dip down in the S&P, I'm not interested. So I'm going to lighten and cancel on the S&P. I did not go out the way that I wanted it to. Although, again, the pressure is still on the shorts. We're right back up to their break-even point again. So if they start piercing above this 87 quarter where the shorts entered in below that previous bear bar, that's where they'll be looking to reverse and exit on the next dip. So there's still a shot, but we need a bit more proof. We're also getting a little bit later in the morning. Or later in the afternoon, getting closer to calling it quits. More continuation phasing. The bears are totally just underwater. Remember, the shorts went underneath, and, well, if they followed up with the second short, they didn't even get their target. That's where I was trying to get filled. C'est la vie. And then rolls all the way back up. NASDAQ's got 300 ticks left on this candle. It'd be nice for it to flush down sooner than later. That is a very nice looking 5-minute bar on the S&P. The trigger, though, for the long is directly into the shorts entry. That's direct. I mean, same price. The long and the short is the same price. Ooh, what a fist fight. Fun. Well, that didn't look very good for the bulls trying to trigger above that last bull bar. What was that about? Seems like the sellers haven't lost their grip. NASDAQ gaining some strength. I can't get the dip that I want on the NASDAQ. $460 ticks left on the candle. Nice quick little flush would be really nice. To the tick test on the break even once again for the S&P as well, suggesting that the bears haven't given up. $300 ticks left. Nice little snap lower. Oh, they might not be able to make it. Still nothing. Ooh, now S&P, that's a heck of a bear bar. I'm curious. The earlier shorts would have gotten in 85.50. Maybe they get out at break even, but if they're thrown a bone, I'll still look for 84.50. That'd be the shorts finally getting a target. After all of this. And a nice little trap underneath that last bull bar where you know a lot of bulls bought above the bull bar directly into the shorts. Really, NASDAQ? Really, NASDAQ? What? What? Why are you so mean? Oh, I didn't get a fill on the NASDAQ. That sucks. Are you... Oh, there's the salt in the wound right there. Ooh. Oh, my heart. Oh well. Gorgeous dip. Hit the bid twice, no fill on both. Good soup. Jeez. S&P bulls, you got 2 minutes left on this candle. I'm about to give up though. I'm getting real frustrated here with these no fills. Oy. Beautiful little opportunity there. Unfortunate the way that they played ball. I mean, look at the bounce. It's to the tick. Oh, well. Bears still technically holding on the S&P. What a mess. That is one of the pitfalls of hitting bid and hitting ask when you're trying to find entries. You do run the risk of not getting filled. They might not fill the bid and ask. Right? That's a very real possibility. Well, there's not really a whole lot left. We've got this other zone down here, but at this point, I think I'm just going to call it quits and move into training time, get the questions taken care of, get all that taken care of, and just not deal with the frustration. If we look at the overall trade math today, because today was a very good day as far as the trader's math is concerned, but if we break down the math today to make sure that we're trading everything properly, I always encourage everybody break down their trader's math. I don't care about the dollars and cents. It doesn't matter. I mean, it does to a degree, but as long as you're trading properly, the dollars and cents should follow, right? That's the idea. So we always want to double check our trader's math, make sure the trader's math is correct. We had a total of 15 trades today, 66.67% accuracy on the losing side. That means that we were wrong 33.33 times. The average losing trade was 20 ticks. That's an incredibly ominous number. And 66.67 times, really? Times the average win is minus the difference. Gives us a positive trader's math of 2,600. Really, really good day today as far as the trader's math is concerned. Largest winning trade, 133. Largest losing trade, 33. 100 tick difference, a disparity between the two is an incredible spot to be. I mean, even though today looks like it was a really rough and tumble, annoying, frustrating day, and it's not letting up on that frustrating part. As long as you stuck to the rules and you followed your plans, it was possibly still okay. Hopefully you did well today. Like I said, if you have any questions about any setups or any setups that you took that you want me to review for you, feel free. Drop those in chat too. And then we'll roll out, call it a day. Don't forget, as a side note, I know a lot of you guys and gals are into Upland and the NFT metaverse over on Upland. If you haven't checked that out yet, make sure to grab the link down below, and you can get some free UPIX when you start out. But they have the Bronx launch. Today is the stress test, and it launches tomorrow at, I believe it was 8 a.m. Pacific. So what is that? 8, 9, 10, like 11 o'clock Eastern is when Bronx goes live. My Uplander, in full disclosure, my Uplander is already in the Bronx by the train station, ready to go. So just be mindful. Tomorrow we do have the Bronx launch in Upland as well. Super pumped about that. The USD withdrawal finally went through. That took a lot longer than I thought it was going to. Full disclosure there, the USD withdraw does take a couple days. It is not instantaneous. I found that one out. I did the withdraw. When did I withdraw that? I withdrew like $70 on, I don't know, last week Thursday or Friday or something. It didn't show up until this morning. I thought crypto weekend wouldn't matter. Apparently it did. So just so you know. S&P's breaking above that break-even point. All those shorts who were short and were doing beautifully well on the way down are now underwater on the remainder of their position. That's not a fun place to be. Chances are they start exiting, especially if this next bull bar, which has 3 minutes on it, closes above their break-even point. That's even more emphasis. Yeah, in case you're interested, when you do sign up, I know it's a referral link. Normally I don't push referrals too much, but pretty much every crypto gives you some really cool kickbacks. That's the link for Upland if you're not in Upland yet, just for the Bronx release. Because when you use that, you get a lot of extra bonuses that can get you started, so you don't even have to put anything in, which is always kind of nice. When you mint properties, though, you pay the base fee. So, and I've got a couple tutorials coming out later today and over the next few days going over Upland and how to potentially make it a viable business model. There's a lot of info coming down the pipe, so if you're curious as far as virtual properties and NFTs and all that fun stuff. I just think it's fun. It's like you get paid real money to play video games. Like, oh, okay. Sure. Yeah, there's Upland, which is on the EOS blockchain, and along with that, they have their own in-house token, which is UPIX, UPX. There's also Metaverse, which is on a different blockchain. That's their own blockchain. They've also got Sandbox and all these other ones. As far as a lot of the Metaverse productions in the gaming industry as a whole, they're going absolutely nuts. It's a gold rush. It is what it is. You know, NFTs and all of that. Everybody's trying to get their hands on it as quickly as possible. And when you see launches like crypto.com/NFT is an example. The crypto.com/NFT, you can buy NFTs with debit cards, you know, like versus OpenSea where you pay $7 million in transfer fees for Ethereum. You can buy it with a debit card with like almost no fees up front. And you can then sell it on the same marketplace and transfer the Crow coins, or USDC is what they transfer it out of, into your crypto.com wallet, and then use, I mean, there's so many advancements on all of the NFT fronts, whether it's properties and, you know, all of that from gaming, or, you know, art or music or whatever. I mean, incredible. So it's a gold rush right now. And Upland, along with Sandbox and all the other ones are, you know, those are huge. Yeah, I'm right there with you, Hal. Because my son plays Roblox too, and so does my daughter. And Sandbox, that's like, you know, they can actually turn the stuff that they build, like these incredible builds that they spend hours on sometimes over a span of days, they can actually monetize that and sell that. I would have to do it for them because they're kids, but you know what I mean? Like, they can actually turn their hobbies into real life money. Like, teach them. Yeah, I know, like, teaching a 7-year-old about that kind of stuff seems like it might be a little bit overwhelming, but to them, it's a game. And when you put a real life value on that, it's like, hey, you know, if you made this really cool contraption, you want to share it with the world and you want to sell it, you could make thousands, potentially millions, you know, it's ridiculous. It's incredible. So, I mean, it's a gold rush, and it's understandably why. But Sandbox is a big one. But yeah, all of those, definitely. Gala's another one. Yep. Yeah, what was the, there was a big yacht, or an in-game yacht that sold for a couple $1 million, like $6.5 million or something like that. For a yacht NFT. I mean, okay, you know. But it's not about owning the NFT anymore. Was it 660,000? I thought it was in the millions. Whatever. I mean, still, a virtual yacht for 600K. You know, that's just that's baffling. That's like, I don't know, 10 times the U.S. Base average income, right? 60K? Less than that, maybe? I know here in Michigan it's terrible. The base here is like 38 or something like that. So, I mean, so you spend, I don't know, a month working on some mega yacht in Sandbox and then turn around and sell it for 100K? Like, worth it. You know? Like, geez. My kid can buy his own Fortnite stuff now. Quit dipping into dad's pockets. All right. I'm not seeing anything else going on. There's not really anything else that I want to put risk on. We did have a close back above on the S&P. Likely the next dip down to 87 quarters is going to get bought up. And it's buying from shorts exiting, not new buying per se. Or it is new buying, just in a different way. That said, I'm not really interested in the risk anymore. I'm just going to call it and say good enough. Like we always talk about, though, there's a lot of different ways to join in if you're new around here, or if you're new to the markets, or you're just trying to figure out what the heck's going on. A really good way to figure it out with 19 plus hours of video course material. It's the Day Trading Academy over on SSFTG. We're also running a promo where you get up to 12% off when you use cryptocurrency to check out. There's a lot of really cool stuff going on. Along with that, when you sign up with the Academy, you can use the purchase cost of the Academy when you're ready to upgrade to the VIPs as a coupon. So you actually, it's kind of a win-win. Sort of nice there. Of course, all three packages come with the Day Trading Academy. So if you're looking at VIP packages, that also comes with it. VIP also has live trade room access permanently. There's no monthly fees or any of that garbage. I hate that kind of stuff. It's a one-shot thing. It's easier that way. And that way you can really ensure that you're on the right track. But to really solidify it even further, when you sign up as a VIP, you get anywhere from 3 to 10 one-hour calls with me over Discord and screen share, so we can work on your computer, getting things set up, your charts, working on trade plans, all kinds of cool stuff. So, if you're looking for more info about becoming a member, or anything else, if you have any trades that you want me to look at for you too, sure, that's fine. Shoot me an email, shoot me a message, jhb@ssftg.com. Don't forget as well, going into the holidays, I know holidays are ridiculously expensive. If you're looking for a more budget-friendly approach for the time of year to fit your needs, we do have payment plans on the VIP access as well, ranging as little as $84 a month for a year, for 12 months. So, and then, of course, we also have our 1-week trial in the room, so you can kind of see what it's all about without having to put anything on the table. But that's going to do it. I'm not seeing anything else going on. I really don't want to put any more risk on the table, so we'll call it. Keep in mind, tomorrow we have the room closed for VIPs and on YouTube. We're going to be gone tomorrow. That said, I may be in and out of the Discord room for you members, talking about the goings-on, if anything is happening. Otherwise, though, we'll be back on Thursday, ready to rock and roll. So I hope you had a fantastic day of trading. Hopefully you had a good afternoon, at least on the NASDAQ. The S&P didn't give me anything to play with, but not for lack of trying. We'll see what the rest of the day holds, and otherwise we'll work into tomorrow. 2 cheeky points. Hey, 2 points is enough to keep the JOB away, and that's what we care about, right? All right, that's going to do it. Have a great rest of your day. I hope you had a fantastic day today, and we will see you all, not tomorrow, but Thursday. So we'll talk to y'all later. Thanks.